Audience, please remain standing, and for some, please stand. For the national anthem, followed by Lift Every Voice and Sing. be seated. At this time, the invocation will be delivered by Reverend J. Vaughn Leach, Mount Lebanon AME Zion Church, Elizabeth City, North Carolina.
And are we yet alive to see each other's face? Isn't it wonderful to see some faces again? In the beginning, God created. And in just to start off the beginning of this program, we honor God on this morning. And how many of you know that God is not done creating? And so as we go to God, we invite you to kneel at the altar of your heart. Let us pray. Thank you for creating this day. For God, this is the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. And so, God, we ask that you come and work through this celebration of excellence in education, this celebration of survival, this celebration of a wonderful achievement to say, had it not been for the Lord on our side, where would we be? And so, God, as we dedicate this moment of 131 years here at this illustrious institution, we ask, God, that you would come into this place and have your way. In the name of the Father, Son, and blessed Holy Ghost, we pray. Amen.
The occasion will now be delivered by we have someone in place of Miss ECSU representative. Thank you.
Chancellor Dixon, Dr. Patricia Johnson, program participants, founding families, faculty, staff, students, alumni, ECSU retirees, and friends of Elizabeth City State University. Good morning. My name is Shania Moore, and I serve as the Vice President of Internal Affairs for the Student Government Association. When we study together, we learn together, we work together, and we prosper together. Barack Obama. Elizabeth City State University was founded on March 3, 1891, when House Bill 383 was enacted by the North Carolina General Assembly with the specific purpose of teaching and training teachers of color to teach in the common schools of North Carolina. The founding fathers, Hugh Cal, Peter Wederick Moore, and John Henry Byers worked vigorously to pave the way for our beloved Elizabeth City State University. As we continue on our journey, we pay homage to our founding fathers and their legacy. Because of the founding fathers' sacrifice, we are compelled to do our best, to give our best, and to achieve our best. Hugh Cal, Peter Wederick Moore, and John Henry Byers. We say thank you, for your living was not in vain. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm going to try that one more time. Good morning. This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Right? Amen. So it is my pleasure to welcome you to the 131st Elizabeth City State University Founders Day Convocation. Are y'all excited? Yes. Today is a time that we reflect on our rich heritage, celebrate our successes, and envision our future. At this time, I invite Mr. James W. Cherry II, President of the ECSU National Alumni Association, to the podium to recognize our founding families. Mr. Cherry.
Chancellor Dixon, platform participants, faculty, staff, students, and friends of Elizabeth City State University. My name is James Cherry, class of 1996, and I extend greetings to you on behalf of the Elizabeth City State University National Alumni Association. I also have the honor of recognizing the founding families. Would all members of the founding families please stand? We are delighted that you could join us today as we conduct the annual celebration of the founding of this historic university. This is indeed a momentous occasion, and we are pleased that you have come to share it with us. Ms. Denise Brown will give brief remarks on behalf of the founding family. Ms. Brown, please join us on stage.
Good morning, Chancellor Dixon, platform guests, and audience members. Again, my name is Denise Elizabeth Brown, and I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, and I stand here before you as the great-granddaughter of Dr. John Henry Byers and Frances Lane Byers. I bring you greetings. Thank you. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Byers family. I also have with me here today my cousin Tracy Johnson, who is a county commissioner in Washington County, North Carolina. Tracy, could you please stand? It's always a pleasure to come here from Baltimore to celebrate Founders Day. It's become a part of my DNA, And it's the walk that I've always had throughout my life, even as a child when I was in my 4, 5, 6 years old. And now I'm 52 and I'm still coming to Founders Day, and I still feel the same sense of pride that I did as a child sitting in the audience. Although we're here to celebrate my great-grandfather, Dr. Bias, I'd also like to lift the name of his wife, his partner, his confidant, his biggest supporter, Frances Lenora Lane Bias, who has the honor of having one of the oldest buildings on campus, Lane Hall, named after her. I think it's very fitting that during Women's History Month, we say her name too, because without her sacrifices and taking care of the 7 children that they birthed, he was able to seamlessly and almost effortlessly put all his energy into building this great university that we know today. Thank you so much. Again, it's an honor. Viking pride. Viking pride. Viking pride. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, greetings will be extended by the Honorable Betty Parker, Mayor of Elizabeth City, Mr. Charles Jordan, Pasquotank County Commissioner's Office, Dr. Stephanie Johnson, Chairwoman of the ECSU Board of Trustees, Dr. Lenore Jarvis Mackey, Vice Chair of the ECSU Foundation, and Mr. Brian Spence, Chair of the ECSU Board of Visitors. Mayor Parker.
Good morning. I am delighted to be able to stand before you this morning on the 131st birthday of this exceptional university, Elizabeth City State University. I bring greetings on behalf of the Harbor of Hospitality, the city of Elizabeth City, the home of the mighty, mighty Vikings, a vital part of our community. This institution, founded way back in 1891, primarily because of the excruciating practices of segregation, has survived through World War I, World War II, the Civil Rights Movement, the Voting Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, the Iraq War, the Afghanistan War, the coronavirus pandemic, and other notable atrocities. Our survival as an HBCU is a testament of the fact that life can throw you some tough blows, but there is no time to fret. Just keep it moving. Our founders have paved the way for generation after generation of scholars to fulfill their dream of attending an institution of higher learning. Thank you, the Honorable Hugh Kell, who in 1891 founded the Elizabeth City State Colored Normal School, which has been and transitioned through the years to State Teachers College, and now to a University of North Carolina constituent. If only you could see us now, flying high with a unique state-of-the-art aeronautics program, drones and planes. I bet the Wright brothers didn't see this coming. But it's right on time. How high can we fly? As the ECSU tagline indicates, come to discover, leave to conquer. As a graduate of Elizabeth City State University and a die-hard Viking, I assure you, the sky is the limit. Viking pride, Viking pride, Viking pride. Thank you, and God bless. You're welcome.
Good morning. It's good to be here this morning to greet all on this 131st Founders Day Convocation on behalf of the Pasquotank County Commissioners. This university has continued since 1891 to strive for excellence over the years. Dr. Carrie Dixon and the staff of Elizabeth City State University are to be commended for moving this institution of higher learning to greater heights. Success comes through continued challenges, but never giving up. The university has made significant contributions to our county, city, and the surrounding communities. You have continued to provide to our young women and men the academics needed as they move forward in their education and eventually their careers. The county commissioners are appreciative of your efforts and are very excited about the progress you are making. So on behalf of Chairman Lloyd Griffin, our chairman, and all of the commissioners, we greet you today and are looking forward to continued progress from this community. Thank you, and God bless.
Chancellor Dixon, Dr. Patricia Johnson, distinguished platform guests, Viking family and friends. Good morning. I am indeed honored and grateful to stand before you as chair of the board of the Elizabeth City State University trustees for this 131st Founders Day Convocation ceremony. Trustee Chambers, I believe we are representing our board today, but I understand that Trustee Emeritus Paul Norman is here, and so Dr. Norman, you join in also in representing our board and extending our warmest greetings. Dr. Patricia Johnson, one of our own, how fitting it is to have you with us today, and we look forward to what I am sure will be words that will continue to inspire this journey. 131 years. Elizabeth City State University has stood the test of time. Our founders worked diligently to lay a firm foundation, a sustainable one, for Elizabeth City State University, and I'm honored by their vision. I'm proud to be among the graduates of this university, the class of 1974, and extremely excited about what the future holds. It is certainly one that is bright, and I cannot stop smiling about it. Again, on behalf of the Elizabeth City State University Board of Trustees, thank you for joining us today for this special celebration and helping us to uphold the rich legacy of our founders as we grow, go, and glow. Hugh Cale, Peter Moore, John Henry Bias, we shall forever be grateful to each of you. Thank you.
Good morning and greetings to all our distinguished guests, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and friends. On behalf of the ECSU Foundation Board of Directors, It is my honor to extend a warm welcome to you on this wonderful, glorious day as we celebrate the 131st anniversary of the founding of this great university. Today, we join the entire university community to express our unconditional love for ECSU and its rich history and our shared support for its future. Indeed, this special occasion gives all of us a unique moment to reflect on our rich heritage and the profound contributions ECSU has made to our community, the state of North Carolina, the nation, and beyond. As an alumna of this great university and current co-chair of the ECSU Foundation Board of Directors, I take enormous pride in the solid record of accomplishments of ECSU since its establishment in 1891 as a state normal school. As I stand here, I take personal privilege in thanking ECSU for all that she has done for me. It is because of you, ECSU, that I was able to make it from the farmhouse to the White House. It is because of you, ECSU, that I have traveled across the world, consulted with heads of states, and served on boards across the USA. It is because of you, ECSU, that I have served ECSU and surrounding communities across the area, earning your confidence and bestowing on me an honorary doctorate of public service degree. It is because of you, ECSU, that I am who I am. Thank you, ECSU. I will forever love you. As the Honorable Hugh Cale, Peter W. Moore, and John Henry Bias did so astutely in 1891 and in the early years, we must be inventive and forward-thinking in our efforts to move ECSU to the next level of excellence. Certainly, we have been inspired by the momentum and energy that has been resurrected under the leadership of Chancellor Carrie G. Dixon. It is with her spirit and vision for the future growth and development of ECSU that we thank our founding fathers for what they created and for the legacy they have left us, a legacy of overcoming monumental challenges while always looking to the future as something filled with opportunity and promise. To thee, dear alma mater, a tribute song we sing, of thou true worth to all of us, oh may we honor bring. Thank you for your presence today. We look forward to your helping us preserve our rich heritage for future generations of talented, underserved students. Thank you.
Good morning. Chancellor Dixon, Dr. Patricia Johnson, platform participants, university stakeholders, faculty, staff, students, alumni, and friends, good morning again. As chair of the Elizabeth City State University Board of Visitors and a 2009 alum of this great university, I welcome you. I am pleased to greet you and extend our warmest wishes to our beloved university, celebrating 131 years. If there are other members of the Board of Visitors, please stand today. All right. Today is a celebration and a convocation, a calling together. Today we gather to reflect upon our past, relate it to our present, and prepare for our future. Today we pay homage to the vision and diligence of our renowned founders, Hugh Cale, Peter Moore, and John Henry Bias. Today, our founders smile upon us and encourage us to continue to strive towards what we have done and all that we have accomplished. We have accomplished much, but we have much more work to do. So today is yet another opportunity to renew our pledge, to remain faithful and ever true, not be faint at heart, nor any duty shirk, but to reaffirm our pledge to join together for DO State to work as the students come to discover and leave to conquer. For in our hearts, we'll still love thee, ECSU. So again, I welcome you from the Board of Visitors. Thank you.
Thank you to all of those greetings, and thank you so much for your presence today. It is my great pleasure and honor. Y'all can tell I'm so excited, right? I am just quite honored, quite honored. It is a great pleasure to introduce our speaker of today, Dr. Patricia Ryan Johnson, who received a Bachelor's of Arts degree in English from the Elizabeth City State University. A lifelong learner and educator, she received a master's degree from South Carolina State University and later earned her Specialist in Education degree and a Doctor of Education degree from Appalachian State University. During her stellar career, Dr. Johnson gained deserved recognition as an outstanding educator, serving in North Carolina schools as a teacher, speech pathologist, assistant principal, a program director, and an associate superintendent. And I thought I did a lot. That is impressive. In these positions, Dr. Johnson had responsibility for a variety of assignments, including, but not limited to, teaching, supervision, human resources, staff development, management, and other responsibilities as noted in your program booklet. Dr. Johnson retired in June 2018 after 39 years of dedicated service to the students, families, and employees of North Carolina Public Schools. However, her services to her profession and the community did not end with her retirement. It never does it, Dr. Johnson? It never does. Of interest to many in our audience today, you should note that Dr. Johnson has been an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for 48 years. She was initiated in the Delta Chi chapter here at Elizabeth City State University and is a charter member of the Hickory Alumni chapter. Known for her charisma and effective leadership, on August 1st of 2020, Dr. Johnson was elected as the 18th Director of the South Atlantic region of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, which includes the states, now get this, her oversight, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and the island of Bermuda. She is also a member of the Piedmont chapter of the Links Incorporated, a worldwide organization of more than 16,000 members. She is also a commissioner for the Hickory Public Housing Authority Board of Directors, a member of the Girl Scouts Peak to Piedmont Board of Directors, and among other key board positions. In view of the purpose of today's celebration, I can think of no one more appropriate to deliver the address for the 131st anniversary of the founding of this great university than Dr. Patricia Ryan Johnson, an educator who is one of the beneficiaries of the visions held by the Honorable Hugh Kell, Peter W. Moore, and John H. Bias. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Patricia Johnson back home to Elizabeth City State University. Dr. Johnson, thank you.
Wow. That's all I can say. My acronym for without words. You know, the bar has been set high, and I am so nervous to be here. But if you'll just hang with me, I think I have something that I want to share with you about who I am and what this university means to me. I understand protocol, so let me first say to our dynamic, energetic, lovely, tenacious, and awesome Chancellor, Dr. Carrie Dixon, my friend and my soror. Now, did you get that? She's D for dynamic. She's E for energetic. She's L for lovely. She's T for tenacious. And she's A for awesome. But if you miss the delta in that, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Sorry, my friend. To my friend, my soror, and my forever little sister, for more than 40 years, Gwendolyn Saunders and I have been friends on this earth. Whether we see each other or talk to each other, we never miss that connection when we come back together, because it was here on this campus that we met more than 40 years ago. To the members of the Elizabeth City State University 131st Founders Day Convocation Program Committee, to the Board of Trustees, to all of the faculty and staff, and especially to my fellow Vikings, good morning. It is so good to be here. You must know how humbled and honored I am and excited, but I'm a bit nervous to stand before you today in your 2022 Convocation speaker for this university. One university that holds a very dear part in my heart. I've been a lot of places, I've done a lot of things, but nobody will tell you that I cease to say Little Liz is the place to be. Little Liz is the place that gave me my start, and I will be forever grateful. So I say thank you so very much for this opportunity to share with you just a few minutes as you celebrate and reflect on the greatness of this institution and the impact that it has had on so many people. Because you see, Elizabeth City State University sends people out into the world that sometimes you may never hear about. You may never hear their accomplishments, but please know that we are doing good things to hold up the name of Elizabeth City State University. There's no way that we're going to misrepresent or disappoint anything that was instilled in us when we were mere young people. I mean, 18, sometimes 17 and 18-year-olds who are so impressionable. I am not sure about you, but from where I am, the far western part of North Carolina, it's a cross-day journey here. Anytime that I say to people, I am a graduate of Elizabeth City State University, the first thing they say is, how in the world did you get to Elizabeth City State University? What were you doing there? And you know, there are often times that I have to stop and ask myself, well, just how did I get there? What was I doing there? What was my purpose in life? You know, there are many things that happen to us in our lives that we should take time to reflect on and to think about and to have an answer and an explanation for. So I have to stop from time to time and I analyze, and I must acknowledge how things happen to me, because they don't happen on my own. They happen because there are people behind me. There are people underneath me. You know, we say the wind beneath my wings. I have wind at my back. I have wind under my wings. I have wind in front of me that's always pushing and encouraging. So I take time to reflect. In this past few weeks, after being asked to be the convocation speaker, I reflected on how in the world did I get there? So I know today, as we celebrate the longevity of this great institution, we would be remiss And each of you, if you're a graduate of this institution or an employee of this institution, would be remiss if you did not stop and reflect on the significance of the rich history of Elizabeth City State University and expound on its importance in our lives. We must also not forget the importance of the HBCU, because the importance of these public and private institutions of higher learning have been around since the 19th century. And they gave many of us opportunities that we would not have had otherwise. HBCUs were formed before the U.S. Civil Rights Act, which was passed in 1964. HBCUs significantly created to give Black people their basic rights to an education which so many were denied for so long due to slavery and then later to segregation. During the days of active slavery, there were anti-literacy laws that specifically barred both Black slaves and free Black people from seeking an education. Those laws were in place to help keep Black people under control and dependent upon their masters for survival. Once slavery was abolished in 1865, discrimination then prevented most Blacks from pursuing quality educations in white institutions. Segregation and discrimination were also paired with large gaps in knowledge that resulted in poor educational performance when compared to whites of the same age. Even when slavery was abolished and segregation was ruled illegal, Black people were still not able to find solace in a peaceful educational environment. HBCUs were made to be a safe haven for higher learning, where students of color could not only discover their talents, but also build a community of scholars that would allow them to be successful in the future. Historically, Black colleges and universities remain one of the top choices for Black scholars even today. There is no longer a single path for higher education for people of color. However, HBCUs still remain a safe haven for those looking to get ahead in their field of study while immersing themselves in their cultural heritage. Of all the higher educational institutions in the country, HBCUs only account for 3% of the total number. Despite the lower overall percentage, these schools played and continue to play a pivotal role in bridging this gap experienced by Black people when seeking out higher educational opportunities. There are currently 107 HBCUs in America, and while they are still predominantly Black, 23% of those enrolled are actually non-Black students. HBCUs offer lower tuition costs, enriching liberal arts programs, highly diverse student and teacher pools, and highly quality STEM programs, among anything. So I'm going to take you with me on a personal journey. The year was 1972, and it was around January or February when students were busy completing college education, and I was no different, applying to everywhere that I thought I wanted to be. Because you see, attending an institution of higher learning was not an option for me. It was something that I wanted and something that my parents supported. So I began to research and submit applications. You know, growing up during the civil rights struggle, I knew that attending an HBCU was the only option for me. This was not something that my parents insisted on, even though they were very involved in the civil rights movement in the 60s, but one that I knew would be the best option for me in my continued search for justice and equality for all. Because see, when I was in high school, my friends referred to me as the Angela Davis of Gastonia. When I was a sophomore in high school, I attended school for the very first time with students who did not look like me. It was the first time in my life that I had teachers that did not look like me. It was the first time that I went to school in a place where my teachers did not live in my neighborhood or my teachers did not attend my church. All through school until the 10th grade, everybody looked like me. Can you imagine at 15, you're put in a place where people do not look like you and you were away from your comfort zone? So being away from the comfort of those who looked like me, who knew me, and who I felt truly cared about me didn't make me feel so good. I felt that I was navigating my way through choppy waters of desegregation in high school and always trying to prove myself to others. So I knew without a doubt, when I had the first opportunity, I was going to return to that place that was comfortable for me, a place where there were people who looked like me, who cared for me, and who valued who I was. So I began to look for places that were created to be a solace and a safe haven, a place where I could immerse myself in the culture and the heritage of my people. So I applied to several of our larger HBCUs, you know, some of those down the road, some of those a little bit west of here, just a little bit. Yet I still wondered, would that be a good fit for me? Because it appeared that everyone that I went to high school with had that same idea. There were only places that you would go. So I wondered if I would even thrive in those environments if I attended them because they were so large. But there was one cold January evening, I think it may have been in February. I attended a college fair at our local community college, and there I was reconnected with Elizabeth City State University. And yes, I said reconnected. Because see, my first connection with Elizabeth City State University was through my uncle, who recently passed away at the age of 96, and his beautiful wife, both graduates of Elizabeth City State University. When I was a little girl, I loved to hear them speak of their experiences on campus and their attending the Elizabeth City State University. My uncle enrolled in Elizabeth City after serving 3 years in the Navy. He was a veteran, and Elizabeth City made his stay a comfortable one and welcomed him as a veteran and an older student. My uncle and aunt fell in love here on the campus of Elizabeth City State University and later married. My uncle graduated, or at least he tells me, at the top of his class. They were both educators. They both taught school in South Carolina during the school year, but migrated to Virginia Beach during the summer for employment for so many, many years. Their times and experiences at Elizabeth City State University were fond memories for them, and I always asked them to share with me their experiences. Tell me about the campus. Tell me what you did when you were there. Tell me what you were involved in. And he always had high expectations. I don't care where you go to school, you put the best in what you do. You be the best that you can be, and you always use good grammar, because he too was an English major. So after speaking with a recruiter that evening, I made a decision before returning home that this was the place for me. I never wavered. One question I failed to ask is, how far is Elizabeth City from here? I was so excited about going to Elizabeth City State University, and I rushed home. You know, we didn't have computers. We didn't have online applications. I think I picked up an application at the desk, and I rushed home to complete it, to be prepared to send it in. So in returning home, I let my parents know that, no, it's not the Aggie pride that I'm interested in. I'm not wanting to be a Ram, part of the Ram family, and neither is an Eagle for me. I think I want to be a Viking. I think I want to be in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, for the next 4 years. My dad looked at me and made one comment. Have you consulted a map? Do you know how far Elizabeth City is from North Carolina? And my mother quickly spoke up and said, well, it's a long ways from here, I can tell you that. And it takes a long time to get there traveling by car. Because you see, in 1972, we didn't have these 4 lanes that I drove in here on this weekend. We came 2 roads and 2 lanes, and I don't know through how many little cities and towns. But at that point, it didn't matter to me. And my mother said, if you're going to go there, you're going to end up staying there. You can't come home on the weekends. You can only come home on long vacations and breaks and in the summer. So you got to get used to being able to stay there. What are you going to do? But it didn't matter to me. I still felt that Elizabeth City, from whatever that recruiter's name shared with me and the photographs that I saw and the literature that was provided to me, was the place where I needed to be, including the past experiences that were shared by my aunt and uncle. So we took the journey. We left late in the night. We traveled all night with our little picnic dinners and lunches packed, and we arrived here in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, early one Sunday morning, because checkout was that afternoon. We pulled in to the parking lot at Byers Hall, and the rest is history. It's here where I found what I was looking for. It was here where I found the place that seemed to fit me the best. I landed in Elizabeth City, North Carolina in August of 1972, and it was the best decision that I had made in my young 18-year-old life. I met and made lifetime friends. I was introduced to a career path in speech pathology and audiology, a profession that very few people in the early 70s had even heard of. I was initiated in the Delta Chi chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I had an opportunity to perform in plays in the Little Theater. I was safe with people who looked like me, who cared about me, and who nurtured me to be the best that I can be. Do you want to know why I am here? I asked myself. I am here because on March 3rd, 1891, Hugh Kell, an African-American representative in the North Carolina General Assembly from Pasquotank County, sponsored House Bill 383, which established a normal teaching school for teaching and training teachers of the colored race in the common schools of North Carolina. The bill passed, and therefore the origin of Elizabeth City State University was born. I am here because of Dr. Kell. Why am I here? I was here because the first leader, Peter W. Moore, who was referred to then as a principal, I was one of those one time, provided visionary leadership to grow and move this institution forward. During his tenure, enrollment increased from 23 students to 355, and the faculty from 2 to 15 members. Why was I here? I was here because during the tenure of the second president, John Henry Bias, the institution was elevated to from a 2-year normal school to a 4-year teachers college. 2 years later, the institution's name was officially changed to Elizabeth City State Teachers College. The growth and evaluation to teach and the growth and elevation to Teachers College changed the mission to include training elementary principals for rural and city schools. The first Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education was awarded in May 1939. Why was I here? I was here because between 1959 and 1963, this institution became more than a teaching college, adding 11 academic majors to the original elementary education major. In 1961, the college joined the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, accredited by SACS, and maintains its accreditation. In 1963, the North Carolina General Assembly changed the institution's name from State Teachers College to Elizabeth City State College. And on July 1st, 1969, the college became Elizabeth City State University. And in 1971, the General Assembly redefined the university University of North Carolina system with 16 public institutions, which included Elizabeth City State University. So why am I here? I am here because of professors like Dr. Helen Caldwell, who presented an information session to students one evening in Moore Hall about the speech pathology program. Although a major was not offered at Elizabeth City at the time, the program provided enough core classes that one would be able to apply to graduate school after successfully completing the core requirements. As my freshman academic advisor, she had a special way of convincing me that I could hang the moon, the stars, and everything in between. She encouraged me to reach for greatness. So why am I here? I am here because of professors like Dr. Louise Sutton, who made time in her very busy schedule to serve as advisor to Delta Chi chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You may not have known Dr. Sutton like I knew her, but Dr. Sutton made sure that as the chapter president of Delta, that during my senior year, that I was always prepared and that I represented our organization with dignity and grace. She accepted nothing less than the best. With Dr. Sutton, we had to be on point at all times. She had a zero, and I don't know if any of you knew her, she had a deep voice. She had a zero tolerance for foolishness and did not spare telling you when what you said or did didn't make sense. And she also would tell you what you said and did was unacceptable in her opinion. One weekend, I knew she cared about me, because one weekend when she was visiting in Orangeburg, South Carolina, for a speaking engagement, and I was there attending graduate school at the time, she wrote me ahead of time, and yes, I said wrote. We didn't have email. We didn't have cell phones, so she wrote me a note to tell me that she would be in town and invited me to join her at the worship service and later for lunch. Here was someone who knew me, who cared about me, and kept up with me. I am here because of professors like Dr. Carol Jones, who in her very sophisticated and humorous way brought literature to life in her classroom and made me fall in love with the written word. I am here because of instructors like Bernard Peterson, who allowed me to move beyond who I was and to become someone else on the stage and feel comfortable with what I was doing. I'm here because of a professor like Dr. Lois Green, who during the first semester of my senior year, while a student in her educational psychology class, asked me one day, what was I planning to do after graduation? Like everybody else, get a job. She and her husband had recently relocated to teach here at the university after moving from South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. She knew that I was completing the speech path core requirements, and she had just transitioned from a position at South Carolina State in the speech pathology department. She asked me if I would be interested in a program in speech pathology, a master's program at South Carolina State. What else was I going to say? I'm interested. What do I need to do? Right then and there, she took me downstairs to her office. She called the director, Dr. Harold Powell at South Carolina State, and she said, I've got an excellent candidate for the program sitting in my office right now. She needs an assistantship. She needs to be accepted right now, and we want to get her to Orangeburg, South Carolina this summer. Without any hesitation, he said, Dr. Green, if that's your recommendation, 'tis done. And again, the rest is history. So yes, I tell you again, I made the right decision when I came to Elizabeth City State University, and that is why I am here today, because of what happened to me along my way. Think about it. Why are you here? How would you answer the questions? Who helped you to make the right decision. Let me assist you just a bit with words from your own recruiting literature. I did some research and I looked to see what are they saying about Elizabeth City State University today. So when I looked at the literature, I know that you are here today, my fellow Vikings, because ECSU offers over 30 undergraduate and graduate degree programs with several online degree programs. From business to education to aviation and emergency management, Elizabeth City State University prepares students to compete in the global workforce and to be a force to be reckoned with. Words from your literature. Not mine. I didn't make them up. That's what's happening here at Elizabeth City State University. Elizabeth City State University is able to achieve the commitment to the highest education possible by maintaining a rigorous force on academic excellence through liberal arts programs and using innovative and flexible technology-based instruction models to enhance signature programs in the areas of technology with education, improving human health and wellness, and advancing the natural and aviation sciences. As of May 2020, undergraduate and graduate degrees have been conferred here at this university to over 20,000 students. We are here today because over the years, this university has been recognized as the best among the best in many publications. If you don't read them, you need to read them. We've been recognized in the U.S. News and World Report that ranked ECSU number 7 top schools, public schools. We've been ranked number 14 top performers in social mobility, number 2 top HBCUs, number 36 in the best regional colleges in the South in 2021. Washington Monthly recognized ECSU as number 11, the best bang for your buck in colleges in 2021. ECSU has ranked 4th in best colleges, top 10 HBCUs in the nation in 2021. ECSU, for the 6th time, has been ranked as one of the nation's military-friendly schools for small public universities, ranking 5th in the nation for small schools in 21-22. Military Times ranked ECSU 84th in the nation for best bet for veterans in 2020. Best historically black colleges ranked ECSU number 6th in 2020. That's why you are here. You at the best place that you could possibly be. We are here because this university has earned bragging rights among the best. ECSU offers the only 4-year degree program in aviation science in North Carolina. That's worth a stand up and shout. Nobody's doing that in North Carolina. So when you come here, you can become a pilot, an air traffic controller, an avionics specialist, or an aviation manager right here at Little Liz. You don't have to go to Harvard or Yale. It's right here at Little Liz. We don't stop here. Elizabeth City has its own fleet of 11 planes, 5 flight simulators, an air traffic control lab, and an avionics lab. ECSU prepares you to meet the in-demand jobs of the aviation industry right here in Elizabeth City. You can soar. You can soar in ECSU's new unmanned aircraft, the drone program. And if you don't know, now you know, and you need to go tell somebody. That's why we are here. My fellow Vikings, you are here just like me. You have been able to find a perfect fit, that place where you are comfortable, that place where people care about you, that place where people expect you to be prepared and to be the best that you can be. Thank you to all the faculty gone and still present and staff who continue to make it a safe place for all of us to be. Elizabeth City State University, like most HBCUs, provides students with something they can't get anywhere else, a diverse, inclusive community of scholarships that celebrates the richness of the entire, not just some, of the entire American experience. We recognize the contribution of competent and qualified women, and we employ them, right, Dr. Dixon? We know when we see a good one. We don't hold back. We lead in our great institution. It does not matter your gender. It does not matter your race. It does not matter your color or your creed. This HBCU, Elizabeth City State University, has everything that you need. So in closing, as we celebrate this great institution and its 131 years of existence, educating those who have matriculated here in these hallowed halls, we must pause and say a special thank you to the late State Representative Hugh Cowell, to our President Moore, our first president, and our following president, Dr. Byers, and all who were brave enough to support a bill and to build an institution that has given so much to so many people, including me. I am forever grateful. I don't stand on my own. I stand on the greatness of Elizabeth City State University. I don't care what other degrees I have earned and where they are from. My base started here. You can't start without a basics. It's got to start somewhere. So I thank you, Elizabeth City State University, for what you have given to me. I am humbled to be able to stand here today and say I am proud to look back at my musicians, and I hear and I said, that Elizabeth City back there? I am so proud of what I see on the campus, because I hadn't been here in a long time, and it is awesome. It is an awe experience when you walk here and you see what this university continues to do for others, and we are so blessed. And we should be so grateful. So never miss the opportunity to say, hail to thy lovely halls. ECSU will hear when duty calls. ECSU, faithful and ever true, will be to you, for in our hearts we'll still love thee. ECSU. So no matter where I am, no matter what I am doing, I am grateful for ECSU, because there were so many people who not only did they understand the assignment, they made it happen. So thank you. Happy birthday, Elizabeth City State University.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for such an inspiring message this morning. So will you please come back to the podium? I want you to accept this token in appreciation for your being here with us today and providing us such an inspiring message and welcoming you home. And I hope you were able to spend some time on campus this afternoon to look around and see what we've been able to do. But we appreciate you and appreciate your message this morning. So we'll just stand here for a second and take these. And I have one more thing. One more thing. On behalf of the Mighty Vikings, we want to make sure you are well equipped with your Viking swag. Thank you. So we will keep. You're welcome. You got it? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. So again, thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, and we can't wait to see you in all your Viking swag, so make sure you put it on social media. So we will now be favored with the selection by the University Choir, I Dream a World. Thank you, choir. During this part of the Founders Day observance, we will conduct the symbolic wreath laying in memory of our founders. At this time, Pastor Javon Leach will deliver the memorial prayer.
Thank you, Dr. Dixon, and thank you, Dr. Johnson. Can we celebrate her? Such inspiration in her message. And to this most melodious choir who sound like angels. And I know that they act like angels all the time. What are we saying? After we've said all we could say and sing all that we could sing, I think what we're saying is, and I think what we're standing on in this memorial moment, our ancestors are saying through us, remember me. Those men, I wonder how many arguments they got into. Hello? I wonder how many decisions they had to finalize. Hello? Are you with me? I wonder how many tears they had to shed in order to make this happen. And out of all that happened, we have this moment today. We stand as one as we enter into boardrooms and for interviews for you young people heading out to the world. But always remember that you may come in as one, but you stand with 10,000. And as we commemorate this moment in our memorial prayer, we remember the Honorable Hugh Kell. We remember Dr. Peter W. Moore, and we remember Dr. John Henry Bias. Repeat after me, we remember. Let us pray. God, we thank you for this moment. It is so sweet to be able to lift up names that strove and toiled at a time where everything said no. Everyone said no. But every day, every morning, they walked in yes. And so, God, we, in this moment, pause to commemorate every struggle, every moment of disagreement, every time they heard no. We remember. Repeat after me, we remember. We remember our little church ladies who sold whatever they could to make sure we had a piece of money when we went back to school. Say, we remember. We remember our Sunday school teachers when we were chewing gum and they would slap our hand to make us act right. Someone say, we remember. We remember those times in the calf where we may not have had what we wanted, but we had to make do with what we had. Someone say, we remember. God, we say thank you for the borrowed books, the old books, the hand-me-down books. Someone say, we remember. God, thank you for our parents who put up with all of our stuff day in, day out. Thank you, God, for all of the little meals and treats that people would give us along the way. And God, thank you for McDonald's. Somebody say, we remember. God, and as we close this commemorative prayer, and as we continue this celebration, we remember you. For had it not been for the Lord, I don't have a church moment here. On our side, I wish I had a witness in the house. Somebody say, where would we be And so in the name of the Father, Son, and blessed Holy Spirit, we say together, we remember.
Thank you, Pastor Leach. At this time, President of the student body, Mr. Jimmy Chambers, will now assist me with the memorial candle lighting ceremony. Mr. Chambers. It is with great honor that I acknowledge the outstanding contributions and leadership of the founders of Elizabeth City State University through the symbolic placing of wreaths and candle lighting. First, I ask that you join me in silent meditation as Mr. Chambers lights a candle for the Honorable Hugh Kell, a representative from Pasquotank County who sponsored House Bill 383 to establish a school for the purpose of training African American teachers. Initially, the school began operations with only 23 students and a budget of $900. Now join me in paying tribute to Dr. Peter Wedrick Moore. He was the first principal and chief executive officer. During his tenure, Dr. Moore achieved the remarkable goal of increasing enrollment from 23 to 355 and expanded the curricula to 9 different programs. And finally, let us remember Dr. John Henry Bias, who was the second president to serve the university and was instrumental in elevating the institution from a 2-year school to a 4-year teacher's college. The first Bachelor of Science degrees were awarded under his tenure. Please join me again for a moment of silence in memory of these visionary leaders. The wreaths that are placed before you serve as testimony to the love and respect we have for the rich legacy left by these outstanding educators and leaders. Please note the wreaths will be placed on the respective graves at the end of this celebration. Mr. Jamari Williams will now play the sounding of the taps. We will be remiss if we fail to remember other members of the Viking family who have passed since our last Founders Day convocation. Please pause for a moment of silence in memory of ECSU retirees, alumni, and most recently, Miss Laura Ann Barcliffe. Thank you. Mr. Jimmy Chambers, President of ECSU Student Government Association, will now recognize our special guest. Mr. Chambers.
Good morning. Would like to acknowledge the presence of the representatives of the following groups. Would members of the Board of Trustees stand to be recognized, please? If there are any trustee emeriti present, could you please stand? If there are any professors emeriti present, will you please stand to be recognized? Okay. Will any ECSU Retirees Association stand to be recognized, please? Will members of the Elizabeth City State University Foundation Board please stand to be recognized? Will members of the Elizabeth City State University Board of Visitors please stand to be recognized? Will the National Alumni Association officers and directors stand to be recognized? Will representatives from local, state, and national government please stand to be recognized? Will representatives of the U.S. Armed Forces stand to be recognized? Chancellor Dixon, we are also pleased to have with us today Dr. Eli Bracy, Superintendent of Portsmouth Public Schools, and his wife, Kim Bracy, and their daughter, Ryan. Will you all please stand? Thank you. We also have members of the Elizabeth City chapter of the Links Incorporated and other links. Please stand at this time. Lastly, will members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated please stand to be recognized at this time? Again, we would like to thank all of you for joining us today at this special occasion. We look forward to your continued support as we build on the rich history and legacy of the Founding Fathers. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Now at this time, would you all please stand and join us as the ECSU choir leads us in singing our alma mater, which will be found on the back of your program.
I invite Pastor Leach back to the podium for the benediction.
This is the end of this celebration, and we may never see another. But we have today this most wonderful occasion to commemorate, and as we do that, a benediction is not the end, but it is a reminder of the beginning of service in life. God be merciful unto us. God bless us, and cause your face to shine upon us and give us peace. Amen.
Please remain standing for the recessional.